elevator. I was on the 9th floor and I was coming down, and she stepped into the elevator, and she was a very beautiful woman. She was somewhere between 75 maybe and 80s, early 80s. She was very beautiful face, you know. And she stepped in and she was wearing this coat, and it was too big for her. It was a beautiful woolen, like a Paddington Bear duffel coat, and the hood came all the way out here. She had this beautiful white fringe under the hood, and she stepped in with her case into the elevator, and I liked her straight away, and she reminded me of the saying that I'd heard once, that between 0 and 25 you get the face you're born with, between 25 and 55 you get the face you earn, and between 55 and when you die you get the face you deserve. And this woman looked like she deserved a great face. She looked like she'd lived a really good life, and that she was strong and happy. And as she stepped into the elevator, I said, "I like your coat." And she said, "You like my coat?" And as she turned her head, the hood stayed still, so looking into the side of the hood. And then one eye was kind of, "You like my coat?" I said, "I think it's beautiful." She said, "Thank you. I love this coat." And I said, "It's really nice on you." She said, "I'm really happy you noticed this coat. This coat means a lot to me." And I said, "Well, it's great." And she said, "You know, I didn't eat anything except cereal, and I didn't go outside my house for 2 years, and I watched Oprah Winfrey, and I saw this coat in a window of a shop, and I said, fuck it, I'm going to live my life." And I bought it, and I'm wearing it. And I said, "Well, I'm very glad I noticed it. It's a great coat on you." And she said, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm a musician." And as we got down to the bottom of that, and I said, "Can I give you a hand with your bags to the taxi?" So we walked with her bags to the taxi. Her name was Lois. She was from New York City, and she was in Chicago visiting her daughter. And I told her I was a musician, and she said, "Oh, I like music. What music do you play?" And I explained. She said, "What's your band called?" And I told her, and she said, "I've never heard of you." I gave her my email address, and I said, "We're coming to New York in a few weeks. You know, maybe if you're free that night, you could come see us." And she said, maybe I'll write you an email." And she didn't. But as she was getting into the car, her eyes welled up, and she got very emotional, and she said, "You know, my son was about your age." And I said, "Oh," and I knew then that she was, and she said, "He was in that fucking building." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And she said, he quit work on the 10th of September, and he was finished work, and he went back into work on the 11th of September, and I wanted to call him that morning so much. I wanted to tell him, "Don't go to work, I have a bad feeling." And she said, "I woke up that morning to call him, and he had already gone, and I turned on the news, and there was the news about the towers." And so she said, "You know, son, you've got to tell people, when there's something on your mind, you've got to tell them, you've got to speak it, and make it clear, and make sure you don't keep things in yourself, because it's very important to express your feelings in the moment." And I remember, as the taxi pulled away, I remember feeling like, "Oh, that was really intense." And you take everything from every meeting you have, you take something. And I remember thinking, the distance between the back of your head and your tongue is so short, and yet we keep things there for 20 years and we say nothing, and we just don't. There's certain little truths that we don't say. And she really made me think about that, and really made me think about those things in my mind that I didn't say. So I thank her, and we played in New York, and she didn't come, and I told this story at the gig, and because I thought maybe she would come, but somebody in the audience knew her son who had died, and called her, and I got an email from her saying hello. So this song, I will finish it now, is for Lois from New York.
It's strange to break it in two halves.